Well, I'm standing in front of the Colosseum in Rome to bring you the news that, just like the Colosseum in Rome, I too am a ruin. And I think it's hard to reach your 40s, your late 40s, without being ruined in some way by your experiences in life and love and romance and sex and all of those things. Not that I'm complaining, of course, would I ever do that? But life is difficult, and most people experience ups and downs in life and in their relationships. You know, I see all this stuff all the time online on Twitter saying, oh, you know, just get married, bro, just find the one, just settle down, all this kind of thing. And some of the advice is directed at me personally, and others just at men generally. But the fact of the matter is, I know plenty of guys who are in their 40s or 50s or 60s, and they did exactly that. And sadly, their marriages ended, their relationships ended, and they found themselves out on the street again, somewhat ruined psychologically by, and financially, let's face it, by that process, okay? And I guess in a somewhat maudlin way, what I wanted to say, because I was feeling a little bit maudlin this morning when I was walking down here to see the Colosseum, and I was thinking about past loves and so on. And I think over time, it does damage you. And I don't know if you can recover from every blow that is landed on you as you go through life, as you go through love, as you meet different people and they are part of your life for a period of time, and then they disappear and you never see them again. And that's something that's happened to me several times in my life, and sometimes it's had more significance than other times. It doesn't mean that I don't carry on. It doesn't mean that I don't continue, and I continue to work, and I continue to study human nature, the human situation, I suppose, and I continue to create content. That's really where my passion lies now, you know. But in terms of relationships, you know, I think there are some relationships that I will never get over. You know, I think in some ways I am a ruin, a hollowed out version of myself, rather like the building that you can see behind us. A hollowed out version where once there was pageantry and there was glory and there were wonderful scenes of carnival and excitement and exhilaration, and now it's kind of just an empty shell. I mean, it still looks good, people still want to come and see it, but it's never going to be the same again, is it? And as I say, I do wonder if there are some loves in our life that we simply can't get over. We simply will never get over. And we are changed by, we are fundamentally changed as human beings by having had those people in our lives and having had those experiences. And is that a good thing or a bad thing? I don't know. I mean, I feel as I get older, I'm becoming more and more a sort of a Serge Gainsbourg kind of character. I'll be smoky as Gitane on the side of the Seine and philosophizing over lost loves and things. I mean, there's a sort of a cliche of the older bachelor who suffers from sadness and, you know, melancholy and everything like that. And I think I'm sort of falling into that. I saw somebody once in the comments writing Troy should stick to his core audience of washed out, what was it, washed out Casanovas or something like that, you know. And there's an element of truth in that, and I glory a little bit sometimes in the melancholy, in the nostalgia, and painting myself as the sort of tragic victim in these things. But you know, at the same time, as I was saying in some videos earlier in the year, I mean, do I still have the same appetite for dating? Do I still have the same appetite for throwing myself into the arena of love? And the answer is probably no. And I think it's because, you know, I think there's only so much oil in the tank with all of this stuff, you know. You can only go through so many great love affairs and experience so many heartbreaks before you become more guarded, you know, and you lack the appetite to go through it all again. And anyway, going through it again seems wrong because the people that you once knew, the people that you left behind, you still have feelings for them, and the significance of those former relationships, that former relationship, the significance of that former relationship, right, is still there, and it's still strong, even years later. And so the thought then of repeating the process with somebody else just seems frivolous, and it seems almost like an insult to that former relationship and to the people, you know, to the other person involved. Do we all become a hollowed out shell in the end with love, with dating? Well, the traditionalists would argue, no, we don't, because they would say, well, no, you just find the right woman and you settle down and it's all going to be great. Maybe that's true. Maybe that's true for a lot of people. I don't know. You know, I'm just making this stuff. I'm just some guy with a camera. I'm making this stuff up on the internet. I mean, I don't really know. I certainly think, of course, that long-term relationships, marriages can work for some people. But I do believe, and I'm not just, you know, I'm not making this up, I do believe that they are fraught with difficulty for a lot of people. And it's not just people who, you know, are dating coaches or have YouTube channels or anything like that. There's plenty of people that I know in my own life who've got nothing to do with any of this nonsense, and they too have struggled in marriage. They too have struggled in relationships, and they found themselves coming out of relationships even as older guys and older women, right? You know, and people say settle, you know, find somebody, settle down so you don't become a lonely old man. But the problem with that is, you know, my dad was in a relationship, or sorry, in a marriage for, you know, quarter of a century until my stepmother divorced him, and he was entering into his late 50s, early 60s, right? So there's no guarantee, you know, whatever you do today, it doesn't mean, okay, right, now I can set it and forget it. I'm okay for the future. I'm not going to be that lonely old man, because unfortunately the truth is that people can leave you at any moment. People can leave you at any moment, right? There's no guarantees in this life. As Sterling Cooper said when I met him in Krakow recently, we are addicted as human beings to both stability and chaos and change, and we kind of want both. And that goes for men and women, right? And the problem is, if there's too much stability, there's too much safeness, there's too much niceness, that's all very nice, that's all very good, but then the person secretly craves a little bit of excitement, they secretly crave a little bit of something else, a little bit of danger. And that's when marriages break up, that's when people cheat, that's when infidelities happen, you know? So my outlook on long-term relationships is a bit pessimistic, as you can tell. I mean, it's not entirely pessimistic, because obviously, as I say, it does work out for some people, but I think that the natural tendency of human beings is to ruin these things over time because of our drive for the need for variety, the need for novelty, you know, the desire to avoid boredom, and all of the various social things that have happened, you know, since the swinging 60s and the sexual revolution, you know, the loosening of, you know, our perceptions of what a marriage should be, what a you know, the necessity for a marriage to continue for life, for example, and the lack of social sanction against divorce and so on, has really opened things up. And of course, now we've got the dating apps, we've got Tinder, we've got Instagram, and people can meet online, and you know, so the breakup process has been massively facilitated. All right, and so the purview for relationships long term, I think not very good, but as I say, I could be wrong. You have to make your own judgment call on that. But anyway, am I a ruin? Am I a ruined old building? Yeah, in some ways. But I also quite like that as well. I quite like that archetype. You know, I just want to be smoking a Gauloise, you know, and sitting looking out over the River Seine and bemoaning, you know, lost loves. I mean, that's just, you know, it's a good archetype. As I say, the Serge Gainsbourg archetype. Anyway, bit of a reflective one. I'm going to leave it there, but if you want to discuss your own dating and relationship life with a slightly older, slightly jaded gentleman like myself, then you can book a call with me on my calendar. The link is below. And beyond that, I wish you good luck, and I will see you again very soon. Bye-bye.